And we're live. Welcome. Thank you for being here, everybody. Grand rising, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be at in the world, because we global mobile. Excited to go over the astrology of this week with you guys. We're wrapping up 2025. This is our second to last week ahead astro for the year. We are entering Capricorn season. So today's the first day of Capricorn season. Um, and we are closing out some really intense cycles this month, this Capricorn season. Um, yeah. So we have a lot to talk about today, my loves. One of the so one of the things I realized about this Capricorn season is that this is going to be the last Capricorn season that's ruled by Saturn and Pisces. So, when we're talking about rulership of each season, so we define a season by the sun going through a sign, right? We have Capricorn season, that's the sun going through the sign of Capricorn. We just came out of Sag season, which was the sun transiting Sagittarius. So, on average, the sun takes about 30 days to transit a sign, right? To go through a sign. So, that's what I'm talking about season. I'm talking about the next 30 days of the sun transiting sign of Capricorn. So, if we want to kind of have a little bit more of an understanding of the energies of this particular Capricorn season, Sag season, whatever, what we're going to do is we're going to look to the planet that rules over that sign, right? So the sun in Capricorn is responding to Saturn because Saturn rules over the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn's in Pisces. And this is going to be the last of Saturn in Pisces that we're dealing with over the next 30 years. Um, so what this tells us is that not only Capricorn season, but Aquarius season as well, my loves. Everybody coming in, welcome. So excited to have you here. Thank you for being here. For those of you that are new, my name is Louie. I've been at this for quite a few years now. I'm an astrologer, tarot reader, spiritual guide, and I'm just sharing my love and my passion of astrology and tarot and the spiritual path with you all. And I'm just excited to share the magic of the stars and divination. I actually met one of my really good friends' husband for the first time. So one of my really good friends, he got married, and I met his husband for the first time, and I was just telling him how my life is so magical, and my understanding of like life and my like daily experience because I do astrology and tarot and things like this, and I'm on the spiritual path is like so magical and so different than like what the everyday person experiences. Let me close the door really quick. Hey, stop it! Come here, you little monkeys. Come on. Come inside. Come here, Gilbert. Okay, I'm gonna close the door. And I was just telling him how like my life is so magical. It's full of so much magic and mysticism and like beauty. And I see like miracles happen every day. Like I see the miraculous. I get to experience the miraculous. I get to experience the divine. I get to experience God and spirit every day through the stars and through the cards and just through my own spiritual journey. And so, like, I was explaining this to him, and it just brought me so much light, and it reminded me why I do this work. You know what I mean? Because being able to share like the magic of the unknown and the beyond with like everyday people, it's such a gift and it's such a blessing. Someone said it's cap season, buy a batch today. I love that. But yeah, so one of the things, so I've been really feeling inspired. I don't know. I feel like this Capricorn season is going to realign a lot of us with our bigger mission or our bigger path. And I also think that's what Capricorn season kind of, Capricorn, right? If you think about Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Come on, Bubba, come inside. In Capricorn, being a sign that's traditionally connected to the 10th house, which is about goals and ambitions and things like this, right? We should use the energy of Capricorn season to kind of get back to our path, to get back to our commitments, to get back to the bigger mission, to get back to being a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more structured, right? And to also kind of understand that, Capricorn season being a cardinal season, it's the beginning of winter, but it's also the beginning of the end. And I think this is one of the things that's so important when you start to align with the seasons and you start to live your life in accordance to the seasons and you really use astrology as like a calendar, as like a clock for living your life. You'll start to kind of understand that Capricorn season and even winter time is a time of constriction. It's a time of deprivation, and it's a time of kind of like surrender and like loss and like grief and like endings. And Capricorn season, it's the beginning of winter time, but it's the beginning of winter time, but it's the beginning of the end. It's the end of the year, right? It's so Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces season, right? The last three signs of the zodiac, they kind of wrap up our astrological year before we start the new year with Aries season, because Aries is the beginning, Aries is the first sign. So, with Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in the last sign of the zodiac, and us going through the last, Capricorn and Aquarius season, which are ruled by Saturn traditionally, right? Aquarius is ruled by Saturn traditionally. The last of Saturn and Pisces energy as we're navigating the sun transiting Capricorn and Aquarius over the next 2 months, we're going to see a lot of endings, more endings than we've experienced normally. Like I'm leaving that career, I'm moving away. I'm leaving that relationship. Like there's a lot of people that are just experiencing like karmic fated endings. And a lot of it, it's gonna be sad. I just got you. You have emotional attachments to things that are keeping you stuck, right? So you have emotional attachments to memories of the past. You have emotional attachments to that wounded lover or to that betrayal you experienced. You have emotional attachments to that career path that you thought you were going to follow. You have emotional attachments to your family, to your ancestry, to whatever kind of emotional bondage you have to kind of free yourself from so you can really give yourself permission to accept that this part of your life or this chapter, this thing needs to come to an end. It needs to stop. It needs to come to an end. This could also be around certain patterns or certain habits and behaviors, or this could also be around certain identity things, right? Like certain ways of being, aspects of yourself that you don't want to take with you into 2026. Because this Capricorn season being ruled by Saturn in Pisces, right? Who's gone direct, and Saturn is wrapping up his transit in Pisces in the next 3 months. So Saturn goes into Aries. He's starting a new 30-year cycle come March. He's re-entering Aries. Saturn, he dipped his toes into Aries this year. We got a little taste of what Saturn in Aries was going to be or is going to be, but he only went about, I think, 2 or 3 degrees into Aries before he retrograded back into Pisces. Well, Saturn is direct now. Saturn and Neptune are both direct, and they're finishing out their work. They're finishing out the karmic lessons. They're finishing out whatever they're supposed to be teaching us, however they're supposed to be evolving us, or whatever kind of, however they're supposed to be challenging us, right? They're finishing that out. They're finishing out that work in the next 3 months, or 2 months actually, like 2.5 months. January, February, March. March, Saturn goes into Aries, and we're done with Saturn in Pisces, right? So what this tells us is that this Capricorn and Aquarius season is really going to be about closure. It's going to be about certain things that are like finalized. It's going to be like wrapping ish up, and it's gonna be a little sad. I want you guys to really honor whatever emotions are coming up at this time, especially this Capricorn season starting this week. We need to be very mindful of, you know, the water element energy that's in the sky, and we need to be mindful of the fact that, we're kind of wrapping up these grander, larger cycles with these larger planets, right? Like Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces, Uranus at 28 degrees Taurus, these larger planets that have longer cycles at the last degrees of a sign and also entering new signs from this year to next year, but also the understanding that Saturn is wrapping up his 30-year cycle and we're starting a new cycle with Saturn, right? So what I really want you guys to think about, because Capricorn is a sign that loves to plan. Loves to plan ahead. And this is one of the things that Capricorn and Virgo has in common. Um, is they love planning, and they love like plans give them a sense of security. And plans kind of also when we kind of have plans or goals or ambitions or whatever, it also signals to the universe, or it signals to spirit and our guides in the divine, that we have a certain direction that we want to go in. that there's certain things that we want to manifest. There's certain things that we want to accomplish. There's certain dreams or ambitions that we want to fulfill, that we want to achieve. So this is why we got to use Capricorn season as a season of kind of like planning, but also getting clear around like future direction. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you building towards? What do you envision? What are you manifesting? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, what goals are you setting for yourself? And I think it's so interesting, even if, if we detach from the Gregorian calendar that, really sees Capricorn season as the beginning of the year, right? Because astrologically, the astrological calendar sees it's Aries season, that's the beginning of the year. One of the most interesting things that I find fascinating about Capricorn season is, even with the energy of the new year, what do we do? We always set new goals. We always set new goals, new dreams, right? We use the new year, right? We use Capricorn season, whether it's by, I think this is just by design, right? Um, because the energy of Capricorn and Saturn, we always use it to be like, okay, I'm gonna start going to, we make our New Year's commitments, right? I'm gonna start going to the gym, right? That's the big one for everybody. Like, I swear, like 80% of people, their New Year's commitment is like working on their body and like going back to the gym and like being more disciplined, right? But in general, Capricorn season, if we think about the energy of the New Year's commitment, right? And it's like you're committing to something around some kind of discipline, around some kind of goal, around some kind of ambition, around something around achievement, right? And so I want you guys to think about that this week as we're going into the new year. Like, what is it that you want to achieve? What is it are you building towards? What are your goals? What are your dreams? And what do you need to refine in your life? What do you need to refine within yourself? How do you need to have a plan of attack, or be a little bit more structured, or be a little bit more calculated in how you achieve and accomplish those things? Because Capricorn season it's a time to realign with that energy. It's time to realign with that. The other interesting thing that we're going to have this Capricorn season is we have Mars in Capricorn as well. So I really do feel that this Capricorn season, starting this week, there's going to be a lot of like beginnings and a lot of people initiating or starting or beginning things. And they're going to feel inspired or motivated or impassioned to go ahead and like commit to something, because the Sun Mars transiting Capricorn together, right? It's so interesting because in my threads, I don't know if you guys saw this in my stories, I was talking about Anthony Joshua, the guy that kicked Jake Paul's ass. And he has the Sun Mars conjunct in his chart natally. He has Sun Mars conjunct in Libra. And it's so funny because that conjunction, the Sun Mars conjunction, my dog has that as well. He has Sun Mars conjunct in Libra. And I knew a guy, a gay man that has Sun Mars conjunct in Libra. And whenever I see that signature, it's like these people they're warriors, and they're feisty, and they're initiators, and they're combative and competitive, and they're aggressive, and they're achievers. They're really achievement driven. When the Sun and Mars come together, these two hot, spicy, feisty, masculine planets, right? The Sun and Mars are very masculine energy. When they come together in a chart, like you'll see these men. It's so funny because there's a lot of people calling Anthony Joshua Adonis, or they're using the word Adonis. They're using that word Adonis to describe him, and that's because he has Sun Mars conjunction. Adonis energy is Aries energy. Yeah, it's Mars energy. So when we have that Sun Mars energy in the air in the sky, like we're gonna have this week, we have the Sun and Mars transiting together. So right now we have the Sun at 1 degree Capricorn, and we have Mars at 5 degrees Capricorn. Well, there's this energy of passion, of initiation, of aggression. And so also, if you're noticing that people are just more aggressive right now in general, you're out shopping and stuff like this, and people are like driving fast, people are cutting you off, and people are just being more aggressive in general, or being more irritable, or being a little bit more like, get out my way. They're a little bit more selfish at this time. Well, that's because we have Sun Mars together in Capricorn. And that's also because we have Venus and Mercury in Sagittarius. Okay. These signs are very much like, get out my way, like I got shit to do. I have something to accomplish. I have somewhere to go. That's way much that Capricorn is way more like that than Sagittarius. But I just want you guys to be mindful of this Sun Mars energy in the sky this week, because this energy is definitely pushing us to like initiate something, to fight for something. to assert ourselves in some type of way or to initiate and begin something. So yeah, I want you guys to think about that with Sun Mars together in Capricorn this week, okay? The other thing with Mars and Capricorn, I want you to take a look at your Capricorn house. So for those of you that, are working with your chart daily, which you should be, okay? You should be looking at your chart, your transit chart at least once a week, okay? Or like myself, I kind of look, I just know my chart and I know where the planets are at in the sky, so I'm always just like thinking about my chart, just because I'm an astrologer and this is my lifestyle. But you should be looking at your chart and you should be kind of looking at, okay, where's my Capricorn house at? Because the Sun and Mars entering your Capricorn house is going to it's going to activate your Capricorn house. Your Capricorn house is going to kind of take precedent, or it's going to be a source or an area of focus for this upcoming month, this upcoming Capricorn season. But if you're a cardinal person, if you're a Capricorn, Aries, Libra, or Cancer, and you have a lot let's say you're just a cardinal, you have your big three in cardinal signs, or you just have a lot of cardinal placements. I want you guys to be mindful of this Mars and Capricorn energy. This Mars and Capricorn energy is going to make you a little bit more combative, a little bit more assertive, especially if you're like a Cancer or Capricorn rising. You have Mars going through your ascendant, Mars going through your seventh house. You're going to be fighting partners. You're going to feel more aggressive. You're going to feel more irritable. You're also going to feel a little bit more physical, right? If you are a Libra or a Libra or a Aries rising, yeah, Libra Aries rising, Mars transiting your 10th or your 4th can bring issues with the home and issues with family, or issues with bosses, or even like, can bring some kind of new beginning or can bring some kind of initiation or something around a career, around a living situation or things like this. So I want you guys to just be mindful of Mars. If you have a moon, so one of the things it's super important to all if you always want to take a look at when Mars is aspecting your moon in transit. So, for instance, right, if you have a cardinal moon, if you have a moon in Capricorn like myself, or Aries or Libra or Cancer, and Mars is transiting a sign that's going to be aspecting your moon harshly. So, Mars in Capricorn is going to be squaring someone that has a moon in Aries or a moon in Libra. The moon and Mars those energies do not work well together. Okay. Those energies are very difficult. Okay. Yeah. So look at the soul coach. She has a Cancer moon. So Mars in Capricorn is going to be coming in to oppose your moon. So this is about emotional attack, emotional frustration, family drama. Okay. Crisis at the home, crisis at the with your living situation, and also like emotional frustration, emotional irritation, domestic disturbances, fighting with partners, fighting with kids, fighting with your mom, family fallouts, things like this. You got to be mindful of this with Mars in Capricorn, because when Mars in transit negatively aspects your natal moon, okay, believe you me, you will go through some shit with your family, or you will go through some kind of domestic disturbance, or you'll be emotionally irritated and frustrated. Sometimes you'll get angry and pissed off, and you don't know why. You don't know why you're mad. You don't know why you're angry. Your body feels hot because the moon is a significator of the body. Why is the moon a significator of our body and our physical form? Because why? Our body is what? 90% water. And the moon is a body of water. The moon is water, right? The moon can't being ruled by the sign of Cancer, right? Or being connected to the sign of Cancer. The moon is connected to the oceans and water. So if Mars is opposite your moon, in transit, that can be a physical injury. You could burn yourself while you're cooking, or you could end up being at the gym and you can like hurt yourself or something, right? You could get cut, you could get a bruise, you can, have an injury, you could get even sometimes a car accident, especially if Mars is aspecting your Mercury. Let's say you have Mercury in a cardinal sign, Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra, and Mars is coming in to square or oppose it. Sometimes that could manifest as an accident, or it can manifest as like your phone or your car or your laptop breaking, okay, or some kind of destruction. Mars loves to bring destruction, right? So just be mindful of this. Someone said something. Hold on. Someone said something about an injury. Hold on, let me go back up here. Oh, what's the purpose of waiting to make New Year's resolutions? It sounds like procrastination. Yeah, that's funny. I've lost lots of weight already, y'all. I love that for you. You could plan now. Yeah, do it now. Someone said something about an injury. I don't know if I saw something about an injury. I'll just look in and see. You got a certification you just got. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you want to be mindful of injuries, okay? But yeah, so with the Sun Mars, with us experiencing Mars and Capricorn during this Capricorn season, Sun Mars together, initiating something, beginning something, starting something new, doing something you haven't done before, doing something different, okay? Or even going back to a passion, going back to something you were inspired about, going back to something that, that is like exciting. Like you might go back to that this Capricorn season. So if you've your son tore his bicep yesterday, yeah, that's a Mars thing. Yep, biceps. The muscles are ruled by Mars. Okay, so we have Sun Mars together in the sky. You got to be careful. Okay, you don't want to hurt yourself. That's a Mars thing. Mars rules muscles. So he must be having a challenging Mars transit. Um, and wounded men are gonna like wounded men and like babying or nurturing men is like a thing right now. Men needing to be nurtured and needing to be babied is like a thing right now because Jupiter in Cancer is squaring Chiron and Aries. So the Jupiter in Cancer square Chiron and Aries. You know what's happening right now? They're both at 22 degrees. Um, Let me make sure this is recording. Hold on. Make sure this is recording. There's a lot of family woundedness coming up, my loves. Okay. We're gonna see it we're gonna see it we're gonna see it all season, especially this Christmas, New Year's season. A lot of woundedness around family, a lot of wounded male narratives, especially that run in the family and like hurting men or even like wounded family stories are gonna like coming to the surface or are gonna be really prominent this season because Chiron is in Aries at 22 degrees, directly squaring Jupiter, who's retrograde in Cancer at 22 degrees. So Jupiter in Cancer is about the family, is about mothering, is about nurturing, is about caretaking, okay? Jupiter in Cancer is about the narratives and the stories that our family hold on to. It's like the emotional memory, like our ancestry, right? Where Chiron in Aries is about woundedness around power, around men, around masculinity, around anger, around rage, even around disempowerment. So Chiron in Aries, a lot of those that view if you have Chiron in Aries. So there's many people are going through their Chiron return right now. There's a lot of women that are going through their Chiron return with Chiron and Aries. That's about a woundedness around power, a woundedness around men, a woundedness around your own personal authority, and also a woundedness around expression of anger, expression of rage, or even experiencing violence and anger in relationships and in partnerships and things like this. So with Chiron and Aries squaring Jupiter in Cancer right now, there's this energy of woundedness and healing that's being brought to the surface. So there's a lot of family stories about wounded families, wounded sons, wounded brothers, wounded husbands, wounded men, the deep wound that our son has with his father, right? The deep father wound that you have because your father abandoned you. Like a lot of this stuff is coming to the surface right now because it needs to be cleared out. It needs to be healed. It needs to be there needs to be some kind of like yeah, like forgiveness, some kind of compassion, some kind of release, some kind of clearing around this. Okay, so I would just want you guys to be mindful of this. It's at 22 degrees. They're in cardinal signs. So if you are a Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, or Aries, and if you have anything at the last degrees of a cardinal sign, this can literally be manifesting in your life very physically or very realistically. Okay. I have a 24-degree moon in Capricorn, so this Chiron Jupiter thing is all aspecting my moon, and I've really been seeing this show up in my own life, within myself, with me, and with my woundedness that I have with men, but also a lot of like family karmic a lot of family karma, like wounded family karmic stuff has like been coming up for me as well. So I just want you guys to be mindful of this, okay? The Jupiter in Cancer squaring Chiron and Aries. This could also be this can also be about empathetic burnout or like caretaking burnout, which is something I was talking about before. So if you are someone that is like a nurturer, a caretaker, a healer, someone that, whether you play that role in your family, your relationship, or you also do it professionally, like let's say you're a therapist or you're a nurse or you're a doctor, this Jupiter Chiron square could be bringing up some kind of exhaustion or woundedness around self-abandonment because you're too busy taking care of others, you're not taking care of yourself. So this Jupiter Chiron square wants you to be mindful of excessive nurturing or caretaking that's coming at the expense of the self. okay, where you are like abandoning yourself or you're not taking care of yourself or you're just feeling drained or exhausted emotionally, mentally, financially because you're too busy showing up for others, taking care of others, and things like this, okay? She says, she said, I've been giving people to God. Well, how have you been doing that is my question. You burnt out. Yeah, I had to implement boundaries. Yeah. And Capricorn season comes to remind us about boundaries. If there's one sign that is really good at like, don't touch me, leave me alone, like putting up the boundary, icing you out, walling you out. If there's one sign that is amazing and excellent at that, it is Capricorn. And Capricorn, why is this? Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Planet Saturn is about walls, boundaries, no, rejection, right? Limitations, structure, discipline. But Saturn rejects. Capricorn energy, Saturn is like, no, these are the rules. This is why you always see Capricorn people in like they're the rule enforcers at the job. They're the auditors. Okay. Same thing with Virgo, Capricorn. They're the auditors, they're the rule enforcers, they're the PMP people. Like if you break a rule, you're getting a phone call from a Capricorn. Listen, go down to page 4, title 3, chapter 2. That rule right there, you broke that shit. Okay, you done broke that rule, and they're the ones who are gonna hold you accountable to that breaking that rule, and they're the ones that are gonna punish you. That's another thing. Capricorn especially, I mentioned this, and Scorpio, they love punishing people. Okay, because these are the sign, right? Capricorn's a sign of discipline. It's a sign of control. It's a sign of rules and regulation. It's a sign of government, corporation, authority, right? If you think about Capricorn, right? Capricorn thrives in structure. This is why you'll see Capricorn people, they climb the mountain when it comes to the corporate world. You'll always see heavy Capricorn people like that are very successful in like the corporate world and like big corporations and stuff. They always have a Capricorn placement, or they will. They'll have a really strong Saturn. They'll have a prominent Saturn imprint in their chart, or they'll have like Capricorn Aquarius stuff, or the Virgo stuff, because Virgo is another sign that likes that. And Virgo and Capricorn actually have a lot in common when it comes to that, when it comes to like the workplace and stuff. So I want you guys to think about that for yourself. I want you guys to think about that Capricorn energy. Now that we've entered Capricorn season starting this week, I want you guys to think about that energy, like embodying that energy of like, no, rejection, limitation, right? Like we like to say yes. A lot of people, we have a hard time asserting ourselves. We have a hard time saying no. We have a hard time rejecting people. But listen, you got to learn from Capricorn. You got to learn from Saturn how to say no, how to reject people, okay? Because like Saturn energy is like, no, stop. Yeah. Someone said ever since Cap season started, I've felt so stuck in a rut. Baby, you're a day in. We're just a day in. Give yourself some time, okay? We are literally one day into Capricorn season. She said, ever since Cap season started, I've felt so stuck in a rut, like a huge pause on life. Baby, we just got here. You're one day in. Give Capricorn some time to ramp up, okay? Give the sun some time to catch up to Mars. Because we have Sun Mars together in Capricorn. So as the sun gets closer to Mars, she said she's in the future. She's like, oh yeah, you're 2 days in, right? You're 2 days in. It don't matter. The planets are still where they're at. The sun's gonna catch up to Mars, and we have a Sun-Mars conjunction on. Oh, it's not this week. It's gonna be next week, actually. The sun's gonna catch up to Mars next week on. They're like. Oh wow! It's Sun-Mars Venus conjunction. Oh wow! The sun's gonna catch up to Mars on January 7th. We have Sun, Mars, Venus, Cazimi on January 7th coming up. So this is like next month, but we're gonna have Sun, Mars, and Venus all in a conjunction. We're gonna have Sun, Mars, Venus, Cazimi on January 7th. That's when the Sun and Mars catch up to each other. But they're transiting. They're walking together. They're like within 2, 3 degrees of each other all month. The Sun and Mars. So this is why this is not going to be a typical Capricorn season. It's going to be a little bit of a different type of Capricorn energy. It's going to be a different type of Capricorn season because Sun and Mars are transiting together. So a lot of initiation, a lot of beginnings, a lot of starting something, a lot of doing something courageous or brave. Like this energy of initiation and beginnings is really where we're going to be at. But also keep in mind, okay, it's this energy of separation and individuation as well, because Sun and Mars, they like to separate and they like to individuate, they like to do their own thing. And also, like I was saying in the beginning, for those of you that are just coming in or that you weren't here in the first like 5, 10 minutes, this is also going to be a Capricorn season that's going to be about a lot of endings and a lot of closure, because this is the last Capricorn season that's ruled by Saturn, who's been transiting Pisces over the last 2.5 years, and Saturn is wrapping up his transit in Pisces within the next 3 months, right? So Saturn he officially begins his new cycle in Aries next year or next March, this upcoming March. So the Sun transiting Capricorn and Aquarius, being disposited, being ruled by Saturn, who's wrapping up his transit in Pisces, tells us that this Capricorn and Aquarius season is going to really be about endings and closure and completions. Okay. So, all right, let's talk about the astrology of the week. Okay. So, what do we got going on this week? Well, we are in our new moon in Sagittarius energy. Yeah, it's also the winter solstice. It's a time of, yeah, make sure you get your rest and stuff. Definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Make sure you're grieving and stuff. I don't know, it's interesting because while the winter solstice is while Saturn is telling us like, oh yeah, rest and grieve and like, kind of embrace this ending. Like the Sun and Mars and Capricorn together are like, no, they're like saying, let's get started on the next thing. What's the next plan? What's the next vision? What's the next goal? Like, what's the next ambition? What's the next mountain that we're climbing? Like, what's the next frontier that we're gonna go ahead and conquer? Like, even though there's this energy of like reflection and endings and like going within and like Saturn and Pisces, oh, it's grief and sadness and emotional digestion and emotional completion and things like this and emotional. Sun and Mars are like, no, we're charging ahead. Okay, we're moving into a Horus year, we're moving into a 1 year. There's still this energy of like initiation and beginnings and like at least getting the foundation ready or at least getting like the plan ready for what the next chapter is going to be. Because Sun Mars are still asking us to initiate and begin something. That's what I'm really getting. That's what I'm really feeling. Okay. So I think we need to also listen to that. Another thing that we have in the sky, which has been in the sky, which is also why this is why the Powerball Lotto over here in California, the Powerball, it's like at $1 billion or something. Powerball right now. Let's see. California. I think the Powerball in California, yeah, okay. 1.6 billion right now. So the reason why there's been a delay with Powerball getting a winner is because Venus is square Saturn, right? So one of the things that's been in the sky last week, and it's also in the sky this week, it's separating actually this week, but we're still feeling it, is Venus in Sag squaring Saturn in Pisces. So the Venus Saturn square, when Venus is squaring Saturn, Venus is the planet of love, of relationships, of money. Venus is the planet of beauty, of art. Venus is in Sag. Sag is a sign of travel and expansion and education and like, our philosophy and our beliefs and things like this. When Venus is squaring Saturn, Saturn puts a damp on Venus's attempt to go ahead and receive money, love, relationships, whatever. Saturn says no. Venus wants to say yes, and Saturn says no, right? So Saturn is about constriction, delays, setbacks, right? Saturn is about rejection, Saturn is about denial. So with Venus squaring Saturn, it's so interesting that we've seen a few people get committed. Actually, Venus square Saturn is also about commitment. It's about marriage. So there's going to be this energy in the air, which has already been in the air of like committing to things long term or like engagement or proposal. There's a few people. I think Giselle just got married or she just got engaged or something. I think she got married, right? I think Giselle just got married. There's a few other people that I like in my own personal life that I noticed they got engaged or married in the last like week or so around this time because of the Venus Saturn square. But Venus square Saturn is also about like rejection. It's also about, okay, I've put the time and energy into this and this is not working out. So I want you guys to be mindful, especially if you're a mutable sign, if you're a Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag, you have your rising in a mutable sign, you have your Venus in a mutable sign, you have your moon in a mutable sign. Okay, I want you to be mindful of this, the moon, Venus, and your rising, because this can really show up as like test, like karmic testing in your relationship life, where it's like, are we gonna do this or not? Or, are we gonna like commit, or is this like not gonna work out, So, Venus square Saturn is a karmic testing point around relationships and partnerships. And also, sometimes, because it's in Pisces and Sag, this could also be about, you realizing that, the person that you were connecting to had different vision or different expectations, or that even they were deceiving you or lying to you in some type of way. I really do feel that the Saturn Neptune in Pisces, my loves, and the Saturn and Neptune Pisces squaring the Sag stuff, because Saturn and Mercury's gonna come into square Saturn and Neptune, I believe, next week, going into January. And then also Venus is squaring Saturn and Neptune this week. Venus is going to be moving to square Neptune. This is about deception. This is about scams. This is about being taken advantage of or being lied to. And this is also about you waking up and realizing, wait a minute, that this person was lying to you or deceiving you, or this person, the way that they were presenting themselves, the thing that they were promising, the thing that you thought they were like this, actually they're not. They're like this. This is the truth of who they are. This is actually what they want. This is actually what's happening. This is what's really going on. So, kind of waking up to the truth and the reality of things. And that can be kind of sad or kind of hard or kind of difficult. Okay. I want you guys to be mindful of this energy with Venus squaring Saturn and Venus squaring Neptune, because this is definitely about like some kind of revelation or some kind of epiphany around truth and around things that were like foggy or confusing at first, but now like now we see things clearly. Now we understand it clearly. Now, like, it's been revealed, the truth has been revealed, the rose-colored glasses have come off, right? The deceptive clothing. It's like, it's like at the end of a Scooby-Doo episode, you know, when the villain gets unmasked, and the entire time the villain was the museum owner. The villain was the hotel owner, right? Like, what the hell? The villain was the guy that was actually helping us. you know like, so this kind of like irony, this kind of unmasking of things or unmasking of people can be a theme this week, with Venus square Saturn, Venus square Neptune. Okay. And we're gonna also see this. We're gonna see it next week too, as Mercury comes into square Saturn and square Neptune. Kind of like waking up to delusion, waking up to fantasy. If you've been kind of, gaslighting yourself, you've been getting gaslit, you've been gaslighting others. Okay, you've been kind of into Lulu land or in fantasy land, or you haven't been seeing people or things accurately or clearly, or relationships have been confusing. Well, guess what? It's time to wake up to that truth. It's time to see things as they are. All right. And to stop gaslighting yourself or stop pretending like everything is okay, baby, when it's not. Okay. And also I think, communicating truth on Mercury's in Sagittarius. Mercury's wrapping up his transit in Sag. He's at 14 degrees Sag as of today. So we're gonna have Mercury and Sag maybe for another, like, 10, 12 days. Because he is picking up speed. He's moving pretty fast. We need to we need to speak our truth. Mercury in Sagittarius is about communicating in a way that's honest, that's blunt, that can be, direct. And people don't like that. A lot of times, people don't like the truth. The truth can be very hard, can be very difficult, can be very painful. But guess what? You know, Love thrives in truth. Life thrives in truth. People, even though the truth can be difficult or hard, we revel in the truth. The divine God spirit loves the truth, thrives in the truth, okay? So, if you have to communicate some uncomfortable truths this holiday season, especially with your family, because you got to address some bullshit, you got to call out some people, you got to hold some people accountable. It's Capricorn season. You got to address some kind of woundedness. You got to bring some shit up from the past because you're not over it and you haven't healed from it, and you want that apology, whatever. Jupiter in Capricorns, or Jupiter in Cancer, retrograde, 22 degrees, squaring Chiron in Aries. Do it, okay? Make sure you do it, all right? Don't hold back from the truth, okay? Even if it's going to cause some difficulty or it's like, the way I see it, sometimes we gotta shatter people's glass houses. Sometimes we gotta throw the stone. We gotta be the one to cast the stone. Because everyone loves living in lies nowadays. Okay, everyone loves living in a fucking bubble. Everyone loves their house of lies and shit like that. And listen, that ain't gonna work for me. I have Saturn, Uranus, and Sagittarius. Okay, conjunct. That's not gonna work for me. Okay, I'm a ninth house person. I have Sun, Mercury, Venus, Pluto all in the ninth. I'm listen. I'm a truth teller. I'm a truth speaker. Okay, if you don't want the truth, don't come to me. Don't ask for me. Don't ask me any questions. Okay, if you want to be lied to, you go elsewhere for that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the uncomfortable, honest truth. You ain't gonna like it, but you need it. Okay, but you need it. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Also, another thing I just want to say real quick. I know this is a little like this is a random tangent, but um, okay, listening gathers rocks. I love that. Um, I am my a lot of you have been messaging me about my calendar and about me having no availability. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay. Um, I opened up my calendar for January, and within like the first day, it got booked. So it's just it's just the way it's gonna be, my loves. I hate to say it, but you know, me being booked out 3 months, 4 months doesn't work out. Doesn't It's not working. I don't really like that. I don't really like feeling like I don't have wiggle room within my calendar. Okay, so it's gonna be first come, first serve. When I'll be announcing availability with readings on my stories. Okay, so it's first come, first serve. If you want to get in, you got to get in. Okay. But as of now, I'm booked up, my loves. I just wanted to say this, okay? Because a lot of you are like, oh, you're not working right now, or blah, blah. No, it's just, I'm booked, my loves. Okay, I'm booked and busy, right? So very grateful. It's all because of you guys. You guys make this work for me. You guys make this happen for me, you know? I love you all so much. And you guys, you send me your referrals, and you send me your family members, you send me your friends, and I'm just so grateful and thankful for that because I wouldn't be able to do this work full time um, unless I had you beautiful people supporting me and coming to me for readings and trusting me with your life and trusting me to give you guidance and insight and stuff like that. And it's just, I'm so grateful and thankful, because I literally wouldn't be able to have the lifestyle that I have or be able to do this work that I do without you guys. And I just, so many of you are so loyal to me, and I'm just so grateful for that. Because my tribe is my tribe. And yeah, and I just want to say thank you. But I just want to bring that up because I've had quite a few people being like, where are you at? Like, what's going on with your calendar? And I'm just like, my loves, I'm sorry. I'm just booked right now. But one of my goals for 2026 is to be a little bit more present on social media, but also to kind of like commit to kind of building community and being more involved in community. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Saturn in Pisces and the nodes going through Pisces and me being a Pisces rising, Saturn in Pisces and the nodes and the eclipses going through Pisces Virgo have been messing me up this year. Okay, I've really led me astray. Okay, the North Node in Pisces has led me astray this year. Okay, but I'm gonna do my best to really come back to really showing up and being consistent in my community. It's so hard and so difficult. I don't know, my energies. I can be a little chaotic. I can be a little chaotic, and I'm Pisces rising, and I can be a little escapist and things like this. So, but yeah, when the nodes get out of Pisces and Saturn gets out of Pisces, I promise you guys are gonna see a different version of Louis, okay? But yeah, no, it's been a little hard. It's been a little difficult with Saturn and the North Node going through my ascendant. Okay, so the North Node is about insatiable energy. The North Node likes to consume, and I have some Pluto Mercury conjunct in my chart, so I have a very addictive personality, and like it's hot. Let me tell you, with the North Node going through my ascendant right now, like my vices are coming back full force, and it's been really hard to curb them. Okay, I'm just gonna be totally honest with you guys. So I'm just really excited. And the North Node is actually going right over my ascendant right now. I have a 13-degree Pisces rising. Okay. I have a 13-degree Pisces rising, and the North Node is at 12, right on my ascendant right now. And I've really been feeling this like, this hunger, this insatiable energy. Like I've been waking up like at 3 in the morning hungry. I'm just like, I just want to eat. I'm like, I wake up at 3 in the morning. I'm like, ooh, let me make myself a cheese quesadilla. Louis, you should not be eating a cheese quesadilla at 3 in the morning. Like, what are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. That it's not good for your metabolism. It's not good for your stomach. It's not good for you. But I'm just like waking up at 3 in the morning. I'm like, oh, with these cravings, like because that's what the North Node does. The North Node, Rahu, isn't it? It makes you hunger things. It makes you crave things. It's like it's a really strong desire energy, and it can be really strong, really hard energy to overcome. So, yeah, I've been waking up in the middle of the night with just random cravings. Like, I've been craving In-N-Out, and I haven't gone In-N-Out yet, but I'm gonna satiate that craving today. I'm going to In-N-Out today. I promised myself that. I'm getting myself some In-N-Out today. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. Okay, get out my way. I have a craving to satiate. I went through that last year, making full meals at all hours. Yeah, and also for me, it shows up as like food and hunger a lot of times because I have the North Node in my second house in Aries. So when you're going through the eclipses, and this is also something to be mindful of. So I just kind of let's kind of pivot a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get back to the astrology of the week ahead. Okay, when you are being eclipsed. So the people that are getting eclipsed right now are Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag people. When you are getting eclipsed, the energy of chaos, of self-destruction, of obsession, of self-sabotage, of escapism, of avoidance, of like addiction, like that energy will come and find you. That energy will seek you out. And it's really hard. Eclipse energy is very, very chaotic. And I want you to think about it as like it's like an insatiable, hungry energy. That's the North Node, where the South Node is like a self-destructive, kind of like a addictive, escapist, avoidant energy. Okay. So I want you guys to be mindful of this, especially if you are a mutable person. If you have Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag, I want you guys to be mindful of this eclipse energy that's been in the sky since last year, right? Since January, February of this year, because the nodes went into Pisces and Virgo at the beginning of 2025. So I want you guys to be mindful of this energy because you know, the eclipse energy can have you feeling very, very chaotic or very, very distressed when the nodes, especially, are squaring or conjoining your sun, moon, or your ascendant, or even going over your Mercury. You are going to feel very kind of chaotic or very obsessive or very, there may be addictions that resurface, or there may be self-destructive patterns, or even thoughts or emotions like that come back. And I just want you guys to be mindful of this, okay? Because this energy can be very, very challenging. The eclipse energy also, so the eclipses and the eclipse energy, and I'm talking about this now. In fixed signs, you need to prepare yourselves, okay? Because the nodes in 2026 are going to Leo and Aquarius. So fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, you guys are going to be experiencing the gaze of the nodes starting at the end of 2026, okay? Or middle end of 2026. But I want you guys to be mindful of this energy because also the eclipse energy and the nodes will put you into situations in your life that are very much out of your control, where you're forced to surrender, where you're forced to stop, or you're forced to like pivot. So eclipse energy has a lot to do with sudden losses or sudden extreme changes with things. So this can be a sudden loss of a job. This can be someone passing away. This can also be like some kind of illness or sickness that kind of really lays you flat and kind of, has you reset or has you pause and stop. So I want you guys to be mindful of the eclipse energy, okay? Because the eclipse energy is very, very volatile. It's very chaotic. I want you to think of it as like the eclipse energy is chaos energy. It's raw, chaotic energy. It's very powerful. It's very strong, but it's also very chaotic, okay? And I want you guys to think about that, okay? Because we may not be in eclipse season, right? Like right now, we're not in eclipse season, but when the nodes are transiting or squaring, they're either conjoining or opposing or squaring your sun, moon, or your ascendant, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel like you're going through eclipse energy. You're gonna feel that energy. So be mindful of that, okay? I just want to share that with you guys because you know we need to understand how the nodes impact us in transit. We need to understand how the eclipses actually physically, energetically manifest in our experience and what we're going through, right? And when we are being aspected by the nodes, there's this energy of like chaos and self-destruction. There's energy of things that are out of our control, and like things moving really fast or changing really fast. Or there's losses, there's losses that we have to go through that are very karmic and very sad, where we feel like something gets taken away from us. That's what the South Node does. The South Node takes things, right? But also the North Node brings something in. It moves us in a new direction. It kind of forces us forward in a new way, right? That can be very uncomfortable. That could be where we're not ready for it. But it's now. The time to go is now, right? North Node. So it's a very interesting transit to experience and go through. And I'm seeing it in my own life. I mean, I'm a Pisces rising in the South Node in Virgo. I'm just thinking about a connection. I have the seventh. I have Virgo in the seventh house where the South Node is transiting, and I'm thinking about the South Node literally going through my seventh right now, going over my descendant angle because my your ascendant and descendant are always going to be the same degree. And I'm thinking about a relationship that just exited my life, actually. I had a very significant, influential relationship that exited my life recently. And it's kind of like I'm coming back home to myself, but also it was just so karmic. It felt very karmic. It was draining me, it was exhausting me, right? But there was like a deep spiritual lesson that I was supposed to learn from that as well. And that's also what I'm realizing with the nodes. That's what the nodes are teaching me or have taught me about that experience. So it's just I want you guys to be mindful of the nodes, okay? When they come in, when you see the North Node in transit coming in to hit your moon or your sun, or even the South Node, right? For those of you with Virgo placements, the South Node is going over your sun, your moon, your rising, whatever, right? Or even if you're a Sag or a Gemini, you have the node squaring your Sag or Gemini placement. You got to be mindful of this in transit because you will feel it, you'll experience it. Something will karmically happen in your life that'll be very tough or very challenging, or they'll feel very, very chaotic, or that'll also just kind of feel very fated or very destined, but it can end up with like some kind of loss or some kind of, sad, like some kind of loss or something taken away from you because of the South Node energy. Okay. So, all right, let's get to the astrology of the week. We're an hour in already, so let's get to astrology of the week. So today's Monday, December 22nd. It's a 22 day. Um, Oh, the 22nd. We got a lot of 22 energy in the sky. We have Jupiter at 22, Chiron at 22. We have the moon in Aquarius today. Okay. So the moon in Aquarius is conjoining Pluto. So with moon in Aquarius, sun in Capricorn today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, because the moon's with Pluto right now. This is about kind of like really deep things getting revealed. Oh, interesting. Um, Profound revelations around connections, around relationships, but also I just got a download around seeing people that we haven't seen in a long time or going back to the past and some kind of healing or mending of like relationships or connections of the past with Moon in Aquarius, Sun in Capricorn. Is that because of the Saturn in Pisces? Saturn trine Jupiter, maybe? I don't know. I'm just getting a download around that. There's something around healing these connections or healing social relationships in the first half of this week, or even reconnecting to people that we haven't seen in a long time. Aquarius is a sign that's very social. Aquarius is a sign it's about community. It's also about disenfranchisement. It's the black sheep. So if you are the black sheep in your family, if you're the weirdo, if you're the outcast, don't be surprised if you get reminded of that over the next 3 days. Today, tomorrow, Wednesday, because the moon's in Aquarius and the sun's in Capricorn. We have a lot of Saturn energy. The sun and the moon are transiting Saturn signs. So, yeah, the moon in Aquarius, yeah, over the next 3 days, moon in Aquarius responding to Saturn in Pisces, Sun in Capricorn responding to Saturn in Pisces. Saturn's in a square with Venus. Venus is separating from a square with Saturn. This also is about like I don't know. This is kind of giving me the next 3 days. It's kind of about boundaries and relationships. It's about boundaries and relationships. It's about either solidifying structures and relationships, friendships, community connections, whatever, or even like putting up boundaries and saying like no, or like, there's something about, relationships that need to, there's some kind of modification, healing, there's some kind of boundaries, there's some kind of reassessing of the dynamic that needs to happen in the next 3 days, or that may show up with people over the next 3 days because of Saturn squaring Venus and Saturn ruling over the moon and sun who are in Capricorn and Aquarius respectively. Okay. So I just want you guys to be mindful of tension in relationships and boundaries in relationships. And kind of also, I don't know, it kind of feels like there's some kind of maturity or some kind of aging that's happening in our connections where things that the way that we've been doing things, the way that things have been before, they can no longer continue to be that way. So there's something about the Venus Saturn square and the moon in Aquarius responding to the Venus Saturn square. And then also Venus coming into square Neptune by Wednesday. Venus and Neptune are going to make an exact square on Wednesday. There's something about this where it's like we have a new fresh pair of eyes in our connections and our relationships, or we're seeing things very differently. And because we're seeing things differently, we kind of want to go about them or navigate them in a different way. We want to kind of modify the rules of engagement. So there's something about modification around the rules of engagement in our relationship. So, you know, the structures or the rules that, or even the values maybe that they were built on Venus, that are certain connections or relationships were built on. See, it's like those rules, those structures, those values need some kind of updating. They need some kind of modification. Okay. So I just want you guys to think about this. Also, be mindful of overspending over the next few days, or be mindful of, purchasing things that, I don't know. There's something around overspending, or even there's something around, purchasing things that are inauthentic or that are unreal or being like scammed or taken advantage of. So what I will say is be careful with buying things online, or be careful with buying things from other people. Like make sure, you get what you're paying for and stuff like this. You don't want to be kind of taken advantage of or scammed over the next few days, especially because, this is a season of like buying gifts and things like that for people and stuff. So I just want you guys to be mindful of that, okay? But yeah, the Moon in Aquarius is kind of asking us to be a little bit more social, to communicate. It's going to make us very aware of black sheep energy, being an individual. Also, we might see some, Moon in Aquarius, some kind of social justice type of energy in the air. So, some kind of rallies or protests or things like this week. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that. Moon in Aquarius, though, is making a sextile to our new moon and full moon. Or no, I'm sorry, our new moon that we had in Sag a few days ago. We had our new moon in Sag on Friday. That was like the last degrees of Sagittarius. It was like, yeah, because the very next day the moon and the sun went into Capricorn, I believe. Let me see, hold on. Let me go back to Friday. Yeah, we had our new moon in Sag on Friday, and then the moon immediately went into Capricorn, and the sun was at 29 degrees, and they were both squaring Neptune. So because we have this like the new moon was squaring Neptune, and we're in this like new moon in Sag squared Neptune energy, like be a little Delulu right now. Okay? Be a little Delulu right now. Okay? Like magic and miracles are possible, you know? It's okay to be a little it's okay to be a little fantastical, you know? It's okay to kind of embrace, you know, the energy of like I don't know, it kind of seems like being optimistic and positive actually will help right now. You know what I mean? Like it will make something happen or something. But just be a little cautious of that too, okay? You don't want to do that in excess. Nothing in excess right now. No excessive spending, drinking, things like this. You want to just be mindful of this energy of excess because we're in this new moon and Sag energy that was squaring Neptune. And Sagittarius can be a sign that really is about overindulgence and excess, like just doing too much of things. So you just want to be mindful of that, okay? So let me see. Let me go back. Hold on. Moon Aquarius, Moon Pluto today. Yeah, Revelation, Epiphany, secrets coming out. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Moon is gonna sextile Mercury. This is just a very busy, I feel like it's a very busy first half of the week. Moon sextile Mercury is very, very talkative, very communicative. Also, the moon's transiting the third house away from the new moon in Sag. So this is about like extended family, uncles, travel, long distance travel, short distance travel, hanging out with your neighbors, hanging out with friends, being out in the town, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, being out in the community, going to all your local places, going to the farmer's market, going to the bank, going to the store, going to the park, kind of like just being very busy, very active though, because it's a third house energy. The moon is transiting a third sign away from. The moon is transiting the third sign away from our new moon in Sagittarius. Can you guys still hear me? Are we good? Let me get my iPad really quick. Hold on. Hold on, give me a second. Can you guys hear me still? Are we good? Oh, my dad's calling me. Okay, cool. I was ready to bring out my dad's calling. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Okay, we're good. Okay, cool. So yeah. So then let me see. So then on Wednesday evening, the moon goes into Pisces, and the moon's gonna be with the North Node, and the moon's gonna be like with North Node, Saturn, Neptune. I think. Oh, this is Christmas. Wednesday's Christmas Day. Oh, wait a minute. Let's talk about Christmas Day real quick. Let's talk about Christmas Day. Before I move on to the moon in Pisces on Wednesday night and going to Christmas Eve and going into like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So on Christmas Day, I like this little wave of hair that I got going on here. Sorry about that. I'm so ADD. I'm like extra ADD right now. I don't know what it is. I think it's the Mercury and Sag going over my. I think it's Mercury and Sag making me like very ADD right now. Also, the moon's going through my 12th house, so this makes a lot of sense that I'd be feeling a little ADD. The moon's in Aquarius in my 12th house. Um, on Wednesday, there is a very interesting thing that happens Wednesday that I think we need to be mindful of. Okay. That's going to kind of make us prone to accidents or sudden shifts or changes in plans or us falling or tripping or us not liking the food that somebody brought to the Christmas dinner or us also getting into a politically involved or politically engaged argument or conversation with someone, okay, with a family member. We have the moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus on Wednesday. And I think we need to be very mindful on Wednesday of the moon Uranus square. It's the moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus. Okay. This square, I think, is gonna cause some Christmas faux pas. I think this square is gonna cause some. It's gonna. I don't know. I just feel like teenagers and children are just gonna be acting a type of way. I think like progressive versus conservative conversations are gonna be happening. Thursday is Christmas. Someone says Thursday. Is it the 20? Is this Christmas? Is the 24th Christmas Eve? Is this the day before Christmas? Christmas is the 25th, right? Is Christmas the 20 Christmas Eve is the 25th or 24th? How do I not know what Christmas Day is? Oh, it's Thursday. Okay, it's Thursday. Okay, so my bad. Christmas Eve then. The day before Christmas. It was the day before Christmas, my true love gave to me. Uranus square, the moon in Aquarius. So it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, Christmas Eve. That day is gonna be a little wild, maybe, my loves. It's gonna be a little chaotic. Expect the unexpected that day. Expect sudden pivots and sudden changes, okay? And don't get and slow down that day. There's people are gonna be feeling very anxious, very nervous that day. Okay? Because the moon square Uranus. The moon square Uranus. Oh. And then we wake up on Christmas Day. Let me see if there's anything else that's important on those days. No, Tuesday is a busy day though, because Moon is sextile Mercury that day. I think Venus is also going into Capricorn. Oh yeah, Venus goes into Capricorn. Okay, everything's about to get very serious, my loves. Okay. Everything's about to get very serious, my loves. So Tuesday to Wednesday, we have Venus square Neptune, Tuesday to Wednesday, and then Venus, and then we start our Venus and Capricorn transit on Wednesday, Christmas Eve. Trump gave you the day off. I love that for you. So Venus and Capricorn, interesting. Your Capricorn house is going to start to become more auspicious, or you might get a little bit more easier, a little bit more graceful. This can be really good for cardinal signs as well and earth signs. So cardinal signs, earth signs can be really benefit from the Venus and Capricorn. Venus and Capricorn is going to make everything a little bit more serious or a little bit more stern or a little bit more cold. Venus and Capricorn, when it comes to relationships and connections, is also kind of like I don't know. I kind of feel like Venus when she transits Capricorn, she's really concerned about timing. So Venus and Capricorn is like gonna be make us very aware of timing in all of our relationships. Like where are we at in our timeline? Like are have we reached those relationship goals that we those relationship markers? Have we reached those relationship goals, right? It's like the annual relationship review, okay? So it's like Venus and did you guys see when I posted that? I posted something a few days ago, maybe last week I think, of this a girlfriend, she had her husband, she brought him onto a Zoom call and she was doing like the annual relationship review or her boyfriend of like how good he was for the year as a boyfriend, like, and whether or not she hit certain marks or achieved certain goals or whatever. Like that's what Venus and Capricorn is about. Venus and Capricorn is taking a look at our relationship and being like, okay, how is this relationship or relationships, it doesn't have to just be romantic ones. How are these relationships serving me, right? Are they helping me achieve what I'm here to achieve, right? Does my relationship have structure, right? Are we committed? Like, right, are we in it for the long term? Like, where are we at timing wise in our relationship? And based on the timing of where we're at in our relationship, is it going where I want it to go or is it not, right? So yeah, Venus and Capricorn is very, very serious about relationships, about connections. Venus and Capricorn, she don't play no games. It's very black. Capricorn energy is very black and white. They don't do gray area. This is one of the things that Capricorn and Scorpio have in common. Okay, they're not like, oh yeah, we're just casually dating or we're just friends with benefit. No, 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 no. Capricorn and Scorpio do not do friends with benefits. These are not signs that are they don't take things lightly. Everything is very serious. It either is or it isn't, okay? Venus and Capricorn is going to bring this energy of we either are or we aren't. Okay? There's no middle ground. There's no gray area. Capricorn does not like gray area, the gray area at all. No, they're a very black and white energy. Okay, it's like we are or we aren't. You will or you won't. Okay, they're absolutists. They're absolute energy type of people. Okay, like we're absolutely committed together doing this, or we're absolutely not. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this energy with Venus going to Capricorn starting on Wednesday. I want you guys to think about this kind of serious Saturn energy coming in, okay, with Capricorn. Also, you know, Venus and Capricorn. I think that could be a little bit of a mean Venus, honestly. I think Venus and Capricorn, when people have this, they love to control their relationships. They have a lot of rules around love. They also are not easy to pin down or to get into commitment or get into connection. Like, it takes them a while to kind of commit to be available for a relationship. They will put you through Venus and Capricorn loves to test people before they get into a relationship because they need to know if you're resilient. They need to know if you're dependable, right? Capricorn energy, it likes dependability. It likes structure. It likes people that provide. So another thing, if you want to get with someone that has Venus in Capricorn, whether it be a man or a woman, they people that have Venus in Capricorn, they love when their partner has goals, has dreams, has a good relationship with the material world. When their partner is successful, when their partner is, has got money, when their partner, has built something for themselves. They have a really solid material foundation. They're really established in the world. Venus and Capricorn, they love that. They thrive with that. They will partner with people like that. Okay. So yeah, you gotta be patient with people that have Venus and Capricorn because they don't love easily. All right. But once they're in it, they're in it, like what Celestial Creatress says. They're in it for the long haul. You will get the most loyal, long-term committable partner ever. Same thing with Venus and Scorpio. But, but it takes a while for them to get there. Takes a while for them to get there. Okay. They don't love easily. These are, I just, Capricorn and Scorpio, when Venus is there, they're not, these are not people that are easy to love. Okay. These are people that are a little hard to love. Okay. They're a little hard to love because they have a lot of they have really high expectations and they have really high standards in relationships. Sometimes they're a little unrealistic. But the reason why Venus and Capricorn and also Scorpio, the reason why they have such high standards in relationships is because they've been wounded, they've been hurt before, they've been betrayed before, they've been taken advantage before. They know what it feels like, all right, to be in it, like they've experienced immature relationships or, chaotic relationships possibly. And so it's how they protect themselves. Because Venus and Capricorn and Scorpio, these Venuses being ruled by Mars and Saturn, okay, they're trying to protect themselves. Okay, they're trying to protect themselves and they don't want to get hurt. So they put up a lot of rules, they put up a lot of walls, they have a lot of rules for engagement. Okay, they have a lot of rules for the way that they engage in because it's all about self-protection. It's all about, you know, it's all about because they don't want to get hurt again. They don't want to, get taken advantage of or get betrayed again. Things like this, okay? And they're very serious. They're very serious about relationships. They don't take it lightly. So, these are not people that, you just want to kind of flirt around with and play with. No, 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 no. If you are going to be in a relationship with someone that has Venus and Capricorn or Capricorn moon or whatever, you need to show up serious from the get-go, from the beginning. Okay? And just show them that you're reliable, that you're dependable, that you're trustworthy. Okay? If you are not someone that they can rely on or depend on, if you don't follow through with your word, okay, if you're not trustworthy, if you're not consistent, if you're not disciplined in the way you approach relationships, if you don't know how to honor rules and like commitments, don't mess with the Capricorn or Scorpio. Don't even bother. Leave them alone. Okay? Don't do it. Leave them alone. Because you know what? You're going to see a side of them that you don't want to see. All right? And I'm a Capricorn moon and a Venus and Scorpio. Okay? And respectfully, all right? You're going to get my nice side until you fuck up. And once you fuck up, I'm telling you, and another thing with the Capricorn and the Scorpio, baby, there's no going back. I hate to say it. This is the way it is. I will forgive you because I'm a Pisces rising and I'll forgive you. Baby, there's no going back. Once you burn the bridge, once you fuck it up, once you betray me, once you step out, I'm sorry, there's no going back. That's it. It's a wrap. It's done. You're not getting a second or a third chance. It's just that's not the way we work. That's not the way we function. That's not the way we operate, okay? Because you're gonna do the same shit again. You're gonna do the same shit again. You're gonna do it again. We know this. Because why? Capricorn and Scorpio, we study you. We study you. We're studying you. Okay? We're taking note of your patterns. We're taking note of your behaviors. We're taking note of your triggers. We're recording every fucking lie. Okay, we're writing it all down. Look at this. Look at you lied to me on the 12th, you lied to me. On the 2nd, you lied to me. On the 3rd, you lied to me. Look at this. I have a record. Okay, we don't Capricorn and Scorpio, they don't forget. They remember everything. Okay? And they're studying you. They're watching you. They're observing you. Okay? They're looking at you with one eye open when you sleep because they're looking at the way you sleep. They know what time you wake up. They know what time you go to bed. They know what time you eat. They know what time you go to the restroom. They know when you should be at work. Okay? They know when you should be at work. So you better live accordingly. Okay? You better live according to the plan. If you deviate from any of your own characteristics or behaviors, they know something is up. Because why? You're being studied. You're being carefully observed. Okay? You're being looked at with one eye like this, even when you're sleeping. Okay? You need to learn this before you get involved with the Scorpio or Capricorn, before you start messing with people that are Scorpio, Capricorn rising, that their moon, their Venus there, you got to be serious. You got to know what you're getting involved with, okay? Because a lot of times, you know what I realize? Men, they approach me and they're not ready. You're not ready for me. You're not ready for my Capricorn moon, Venus, and Scorpio. You're not ready. Okay. You got to get your shit together. You got to tighten up the ship. You got to come looking all good. You got to come looking solid. Okay. Before you show up at my doorstep. Because if you come in looking, if you're a mess, if you are coming in consistently, okay. If you're coming in, okay, you're missing a shoe. You don't got your shirt on. Okay. Stay away from me. All right. You're gonna have a bad experience, I promise you. You're not gonna like what we go through together, okay? You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy. Like, come on. Come on. People need to know, they need to know better. They need to do better, okay? Like, but you know what? I've had to learn though. Let me tell you what I've learned, okay? As a someone who's very Capricorn and very Scorpio, and okay, I have a lot of Capricorn, a lot of Scorpio. I've learned to stay away from Sag and Gemini placements. Okay. I've learned to stay away from Sag and Gemini placements. Okay. The other sign that I think that we got to stay away from, Capricorn, Scorpio, Aquarius. Okay. If you have Capricorn, Scorpio stuff in your chart, if you got your big three, you got your moon, Venus rising there, okay. Aquarius, Gemini, Sag, not for us. Not for you. They're not for you. They're not for you. And you're gonna find out the hard way. You're gonna find out the hard way, okay? If you haven't found out yet. So she said, I'm a Pisces. As a Pisces, I can record the same thing and take notes. Listen, okay? We gotta be a little careful. I've learned my lesson. Listen, Spirit, I've learned. If I see a lot of Sag, Gemini, if I see a lot of Aquarius, boundaries. Okay? Proceed with caution. Warning label. You know, every for Scorpio and Capricorn people, Sag, Gemini, and Aquarius people should come with a warning label. Okay? Before you proceed, proceed with caution. Okay? If you are gonna get involved, you gotta be willing to deal with the repercussions. Oh, I love my Sag rising women though. Yeah, I love I love Sag women in general. I love Sag women in general. Like I see that's the thing. I love Sag and Gemini people, but I can't date them. I can't be with them. Like romantically, we're not going to work out because we are very, very different in the way that we approach relationships. Sag and Gemini are very different than Cancer, Capricorn, Scorpio, Taurus. Sag and Gemini are trying to have a relationship that is very, very different. That's very, very different than Scorpio, Taurus, Capricorn, Cancer. Okay? Very, very different. And those relationship values do not align. We can go out and party. We can go out and have fun. We can go out and be friends. You could be my client. You know what I mean? That's cool. But when it comes to dating and love, you keep your ass over there. You keep your ass over. I'll be over here, okay? And you stay over there, okay? And we can wave at each other every now and then, okay? It's not for me. It's not for me. Sag, Gemini, Aquarius, when it comes to love, it's not for me. It's not for us, Capricorn, Scorpio. We're gonna learn the hard way. We're gonna learn the hard way. You're gonna learn the hard way. You're gonna figure it out the hard way. I know it's confusing though when you have a combination. Yeah, see, look at like Elena here. She's Gemini rising, but then she has a Taurus. She has a moon in Taurus and a Scorpio sun. Like that's confusing. I don't. That's confusing. You know what I mean? Because you got Sag in your seventh house, but then your moon and your sun is Scorpio. They crave something else. They want something else. That's a little confusing. It's a little hard. You know. That's why astrology is very, very nuanced. That's why, we can't be so it's you gotta be you can't we really have to be flexible. We gotta really be adaptable. That's the word. You gotta be adaptable when you come to learn your chart. Because sometimes your rising and your moon and your Venus are all asking for different things in relationships and they want different things. And sometimes what your moon and your rising and your Venus are asking for in relationships actually conflicts. actually conflicts, right? Like sometimes your Venus wants intimacy and closeness and wants to merge, but your moon wants emotional space and distance and freedom. Sometimes your rising wants something that's like emotionally engaging and emotionally intense, but then your moon wants something that's emotionally disconnected and emotionally simple. So you have to kind of learn how to navigate and how to kind of compromise with your own placement sometimes so that you can really, manifest a relationship or even build a relationship with someone that's going to do its best to meet all of your needs, all the needs in your chart, you know? The moon is by far, when it comes to synastry, the moon by far, I think, this is my opinion. This is just me, okay? It's my opinion. The moon by far, you want the best synastry with your moon. You want to meet your moon's needs first, okay? Because the moon is about joy, emotional contentment, emotional safety, domesticity, home, family, creation, right? Where you feel safe. When we're talking about feeling safe, we want someone to speak to our moon. The moon brings emotional safety. So good moon synastry, someone speaking to your moon, I think that is the best. Okay. Also, when people have good placements in your seventh house or your fifth house, that's also another one. And also when people align with your Venus, let me tell you, when you have good Venus synastry, moon Venus synastry, you guys will be together forever. You'll stay together forever. You will laugh all the time. You'll be able to build a solid relationship. You'll be able to stay committed for a long time. You'll spend money on each other. Also, Venus, it creates magnetism. So that's another thing. One of my favorite aspects in synastry between two people is Sun Venus conjunction or Sun trine Venus or Sun sextile Venus. When one person's sun is on the other person's Venus, like that magnetism and that attraction is so hard to resist. Like they will be together forever because Venus is a very magnetic energy and Venus, you know, so yeah, things like that. Yeah. And and sometimes it's taking a look at, what planets are talking to. Sometimes you'll have your Mars talking to a person's moon. Sometimes it's your Jupiter that's talking to a person's Venus. So it really depends. It's a very nuanced, synastry and astrology when it comes to compatibility is a very nuanced thing. It's very detailed and it's very particular, right? So, but let me tell you, having done so many astrology readings and so many synastry readings over the years, there are people that are like a perfect match for you out there. I gotta say this. I've seen it. I've seen it, loves. Listen, my loves. I've seen it. You know, I've done readings, synastry readings where with for people that have been married for 30, 40 years, 50 years, or people have been together for 20, 30, and they're happy, and they've been happy and content the entire time. And they have synastry charts that just lay on top of each other so perfectly. And it's just so crazy. It's like the moons, the Venuses, the suns, the rise, the ascendants is all in alignment. And it's like a beautiful thing. It's possible, it's out there. It's rare though. That's why we really gotta you gotta kind of put yourself out there. You kind of have to go through a lot of people. It's for some of us, we have to go through a lot of people before we find that person, you know? You said that about me and my husband when you looked, married 21 years. Yeah. It's just like, it's crazy. It's like they got the sun opposite the moon both ways, you know? Right there, look it. She said, my husband is a Virgo sun and a Cancer moon, and I'm a Cancer sun and a Venus in Virgo. Yeah. So look at he has a Virgo sun, she has Venus in Virgo. So that's the Sun Venus connection. And then look at Cancer moon and a Cancer sun. So they have a new moon formation. They have the sun and the moon together, which is another one. I always see all the time. And like there was one I did a reading where they both had the sun and the moon together both ways. Like one person had the sun, one person had like the Cancer sun, Cancer moon, and then the other person had like a Taurus sun, the other person had a Scorpio moon. So they had the sun and the moon talking to each other both ways. Been together for 30, 40 years, Like because the sun and the moon are lovers. The sun and the moon, they complete each other, The masculine and the feminine. Venus and Mars are lovers, right? Saturn and Venus are lovers. The Sun and Venus are lovers. So you'll see, it's really interesting. It's so cool to see. It's fascinating to see like synastry, like compatibility that is really good. And it's so cool because you'll just see how like two people's charts just align so perfectly. It's a beautiful thing. It's possible, it's out there, but you just gotta like go out there and make it happen. Our moons oppose my Venus and Gemini. He's a Gemini. I'm a Taurus sun. He's a Taurus rising. Yeah, the sun and the rising, another one. That's another one. When you have your moon or your sun and their rising sign, or even, there's times where I've seen um yeah, Mars and Venus in a square can be challenging in synastry. Yeah, that could be challenging in synastry. That could be about a lot of sexual compatibility and a lot of sexual tension and a lot of like physical sexual energy, but it could be really hard to make the relationship work because sometimes the Venus Mars square can be about, one person betraying the other person, one person overstepping boundaries, having inconsistency with values. The Venus person can get wounded by the Mars person. Because the square aspect. The square aspect is a challenging one. It brings challenges, right? Um, the other thing that I've seen, which is very common, is when someone's ascendant is conjunct the other person's sun, moon, or Venus. Like literally, it's so cool. Like I've done readings for men where because when I do readings for people, I'll be like, oh, do you happen to remember your ex's birthday? Do you know their birthday? And I'll just, even if I don't know their birth time, I usually don't have the birth time, I still pull up the chart. But I'll notice that a woman will have her moon or her ascendant or her sun or something or her Venus on the guy's rising or on the guy's Venus. So it's so crazy. It's like such a common thing where a man will have like a Venus, right? And then the wife or his girlfriend will have her rising sign right on his Venus or her sun sign right on his Venus because she's literally the archetype of his Venus. Like it's literally what he's going for, right? In a man's chart, he's trying to find his Venus. He's looking for his Venus, right? So if a man has, you look at a man's chart, right? Let's say he's an Aries sun, he has Venus in Taurus. So he's looking for Taurus. He's looking for a Taurus woman. He's looking for Venus in Taurus. So then he'll get with a woman that has a Taurus ascendant right on his Venus. She has a Taurus moon or Taurus sun right on his Venus. She's literally the archetype of his Venus. And this is the same thing for women with men, with Mars. You'll see a woman partner with a man that has his sun that his has his sun, his ascendant, or his moon right on her Mars. Because he's literally the embodiment of her Mars. He's literally the man in her chart. He's literally her Mars. Like it's so common. It's like crazy how common it is. Yeah. Yeah, and if you guys have the same Venus, that's because you're his Venus. You're literally his Venus. Right? If you and a man have the same Venus, you are literally the archetype of his Venus because you have that Venusian energy. You are embodying his Venus, right? His moon is, yeah, like it's crazy. His moon is your Venus. Yeah, it's like that's what you're looking for emotionally in a relationship, in a partner, right? Moon Venus together is like wonderful for synastry. It's like one of the best. Moon Venus, Venus conjunct the ascendant, moon conjunct the ascendant, sun in the rising, like you always see that. Also, another thing when you're thinking about partnering with people and dating people, right? I'm gonna turn this into a post. It's actually something that I was thinking about. Would you say we look at that as masc femme energies for queer folk? So a masc woman is looking for her Venus and another woman? No, I think yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think if you identify as the mask in a relationship, or if you feel like you're the more dominant or strong partner, like I hate to say it like this, but if you're like the man in your relationship and you're a queer person, I'm a gay person, I'm LGBT as well. Um, you're gonna actually be attracted to your Venus, your moon more. But if you're the feminine in a relationship, like me, I consider myself the feminine in a relationship, you're going to attract people that are your Mars and your Sun more. Okay. You're going to be attracted to people that are more of the masculine planets in your chart, which are your Mars, your Sun, your Jupiter, also your Jupiter. Yeah. So the masculine planets are kind of like Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, and Saturn. Where if you are the masculine in your, if you're a masculine energy and if you embody masculine archetypal energy when you're in a relationship, you're going to be attracted to your moon, your Venus, and your Mercury more. Sometimes it's Mercury too that you're attracted to. Because they're the more the feminine planets, or they're the more, yeah, they're the more receptive, more feminine planets, more feminine energy, right? Regardless of gender. Your Venus and Virgo at the Pisces. Yeah, that makes sense because yeah, his sun opposes your Venus, right? So if you have Venus and Virgo, you're always going to be attracted to the sign opposite your moon and opposite your Venus. You're always going to be attracted to the sign of your seventh house, opposite your moon and opposite your Venus. You're going to be attracted to those signs because because those signs are the seventh house away from your moon or from your Venus or from your ascendant. And what's the seventh house? The seventh house is partnership. We always attract the opposite, right? Also, the signs that trine your moon and your Venus, you're going to be attracted to as well, you know? So, this is why me as a Capricorn moon, I love me some Cancer energy. A lot of my friends, a lot of the guys that I've dated have had Cancer placements because it's opposite of my moon, but also Cancer trines my Venus. I love Taurus energy too because it's opposite my Venus and Scorpio. But I love Cancer energy because it also trines my Venus and also trines my ascendant. So I'm a Pisces rising with Cancer in the fifth house. I have Venus in Scorpio and I have a Capricorn moon. So Cancer, it trines my rising and my ninth and my Venus, and it also opposes my moon. So I love me some Cancer energy. A lot of my best friends, a lot of the people in my life, they have Cancer placements because they speak to, because it just fits so well in my chart, you know? Does that make sense? The other thing, oh, so this is the, so what I was saying before, and then we're gonna get back to astrology week ahead because I'm just like just talking whatever. So, okay, when you are when you're thinking about, okay, so let's say you want a certain type of partner. Let's say you want a dominant partner. Okay. If you want a dominant partner, get someone or partner with someone that has either their Saturn, their Mars, or their Sun in your seventh house. So if you are a Virgo rising and you want a partner that's going to lead and be dominant and be masculine in the relationship, then you want someone that has either a Sun or a Mars or a Saturn in Pisces in your seventh house. Okay. If you want a partner that's sweet, kind, a little bit more domestic, okay? A little bit more nurturing, a little bit more the sensitive partner or the one that's going to kind of follow, then get you someone that has Venus or the moon or Mercury or Jupiter in your seventh house, okay? Honestly, I think the best placements for a long-term committed relationship are Venus, Moon, Jupiter, and the seventh. Okay. Mercury can be very finicky. Mercury is not a planet that likes commitment unless you have a Mercury ruled seventh house. If you have a Mercury ruled seventh house, then you could date like a Gemini, or you could date like a Gemini, Virgo, or someone that has Mercury in Virgo or Gemini in your seventh. That's fine because that's the, that's what you're here to partner with. But other than that, I don't know. Mercury could be a little finicky. I think Mercury could be a little wishy-washy. I don't think Mercury is really good for long-term connections or relationships. Just energetically as a planet, he's not a planet that really grounds or roots things or keeps things long term, you know. Mercury is a planet that likes change, you know. He likes kind of things. He likes options. He likes change. Same thing with Jupiter. Jupiter could be like that too. Jupiter and Mercury are planets that they like change. They like freedom. They like a little bit of space. They like to do their own thing. You know, they may like it today, but not like it tomorrow. They like, they're like this. They're kind of wishy-washy a little bit. They can be a little wishy-washy. So I don't really, I don't look at Mercury as an anchoring planet for long-term relationships or for compatibility. But I do look at Mercury for communication, for daily communication and connection, and also mental connection in relationships. So if people have really bad Mercury synastry, that's why they don't text you or they don't call you. This is why you're not, you don't have a daily relationship with them, or they're not talking to you every day, or they're not connected with them every day. If you have good Mercury synastry with someone, You could be on the phone with them for 8 hours, 10 hours straight. You'll talk to them every day. They will communicate with you every day. And also there's very little to no communication issues. So you guys easily talk to each other. You guys understand each other very quickly. You also get mental downloads or you kind of get psychic insight sometimes with them. And when you have good Mercury synastry, you'll pick up what they're thinking, or you'll also know what they're thinking before, or you'll be able to like, predict or, hear what they're thinking or what they're going to say before they say it, before they think it. When you have really good Mercury synastry with someone, especially you have Mercury trine the moon, or you have Mercury trine Mercury, Mercury sextile Mercury, you have really good Mercury synastry with someone. Yeah, well, you have Pisces Mercury, yeah. Okay, let's get back to the week ahead astrology. Oh, let me do a little yawn. Oh, let me crack my neck a little bit. Oh, there we go. Ooh, what was that? Whoa. I need to go see a chiropractor. Okay, just, sharing some insights with you guys. I know, I have Mars in Libra and the South Node in Libra. And I love relationship astrology. I'm a big relationship astrology person. I love all kinds of relationship astrology. I think it's the best. I think it's really good for understanding relationships and understanding, people and things like this. You know? All right, let's get back to the astrology of the week. So we left off on Wednesday with the moon square Uranus on Christmas Eve, and that day being a little erratic. So when we get to Thursday, Christmas Day, the moon moves into Pisces. And I kind of like this. I like the moon in Pisces on Christmas Day because the moon in Pisces is going to make us a little bit more sentimental, a little bit more soft. Also, there's this energy of like compassion and unconditional love and forgiveness, okay, on Thursday with the moon in Pisces. I do think that this Christmas is going to be kind of romantic, kind of nostalgic for a lot of people. I think this Christmas is also going to be maybe kind of, maybe I don't know. It's Moon in Pisces, right? It might be a little sad, This can be the first Christmas that some people are either spending alone or they're spending, without somebody or something like this, or there could be without family members, could be people that passed, right? So that kind of energy. So I just want you guys to be very mindful of the Moon in Pisces on Christmas Day. The moon's also going to be, this is also the waxing square from our new moon in Sagittarius that we had. So, the waxing square is actually not going to be exact until Saturday when the moon's at the last degrees of Pisces, but this is still the waxing square. Yeah, nostalgic for sure. So, I want you guys to be mindful of new moon and Sag energy. Oh, it's another download I got. So there's things about people announcing plans or people announcing good news or people making announcements with this moon in Pisces around like doing something very expansive or making a big change or like making a big move. So there may be a cousin that's like, oh yeah, they may announce that they're going to college, or there may be a family member that's like, oh yeah, I'm moving across the country, or there may be someone that's like, oh yeah, I'm getting married. There's gonna be kind of like these really kind of big celebratory announcements with the moon in Pisces for Christmas, and kind of like I think that's what the new moon in Sag cycle this week and next week is gonna be about. Kind of like people that are making like these long-term plans, or people that are sharing like their vision or like what they want for themselves, or big moves, big changes that they're going to be making. Okay, like big announcements and stuff. That's just a down that I'm getting with the moon in Pisces. Okay. Also, I will say the moon's going to be transiting the North Node, and so this kind of puts us this like I don't know, there may be some kind of karmic events that unfold or things that are kind of like fated or destined or kind of like written. Like there's certain karmic alignment that's happening because the moon's going to be transiting the North Node who's in Pisces. And the North Node's also at a Pisces degree. So there's something about Thursday that feels kind of like special. It feels kind of like magical. It feels kind of like romantic. It feels kind of like therapeutic. It feels kind of nostalgic. It feels kind of sentimental. It also feels kind of, I don't know, I do think there's going to be emotional heaviness though that we're going to have to confront this Christmas though. Because it's just, Sun in Capricorn ruled by Saturn in Pisces. Saturn, Neptune direct in Pisces. We're wrapping up our Saturn in Pisces cycle. So there's something around, there's still these like endings and this grief and these like completions that we have to honor. Okay. So then on Friday. So Venus goes into Capricorn. Venus has already entered Capricorn. She's at 2 degrees Capricorn by Friday, December 26th. And then we have the Moon Saturn together. Okay. So it's interesting because even though the Moon and Saturn are together, they're also trining Jupiter and Cancer. So we're kind of getting a mix of like the good and the bad. There's like a lot of expansion and growth and like luck and stuff with Jupiter and Cancer and the moon trine Jupiter, that feels really good. But there's also moon conjunct Saturn. There's certain like endings or certain completions or certain heaviness that we're also kind of feeling. So this Saturn Jupiter trine that's been in the sky has been about kind of karmic realignment for a lot of people. It's also kind of been about just accepting that there's certain things that just need to end. I really do think that the water signs being connected to houses 4, 8, and 12, when Saturn and Jupiter are transiting water signs, especially in the nodes too, this is about like that 4, 8, 12 energy. It's about like endings. It's about releasing things. It's about kind of deep spiritual purging or emotional purging or mental purging. It's also about like completing things, okay, finishing things out or accepting that things are coming to an end in some type of way. So I think we just need to be very mindful of this energy. Like take notice for yourself in your own life. Like what is it that you're moving away from? What is it that's coming to an end? Where do you still need to grieve like losses and things like this? I want you guys to be very mindful of this, okay, with the moon in Pisces on starting on Christmas Day, going until Saturday, okay? Um Oh, actually, yeah, because by Saturday midday, the moon goes into Aries, and then that's when things get a little feisty and things get a little spicy. That's when things get a little exciting. And that's when also, I don't know, I think the weekend's gonna be very fun. I think the weekend's gonna be exciting in some type of way. I think the weekend's there's gonna be like a reinvigoration of energy. There's going to be like an uptick of energy on starting on Saturday when the moon goes into Aries. Because as the moon goes into Aries, it squares the sun and it squares Mars. So the moon forms a square with the sun in Capricorn and Mars in Capricorn, who are within 3 degrees of each other. So the sun square moon, sun square, Mars and Capricorn square the moon in Aries. This is kind of giving a very, very spicy, very, exciting, very passionate, very energetic, very, very, and also the moon square Venus too, because Venus is in Capricorn. So, yeah, I don't know. This feels very fun. This feels very exciting. I don't know. This is kind of giving a weekend of partying, maybe, or a weekend of just a lot of activity, a lot of maybe even physical activity. Maybe very feeling very physical. Physical. One of the things I do want to mention though, one of the things I do want to mention about this holiday season is people getting sick or people getting ill because of the nodes and because of the moon transiting Pisces. So, if you gotta be mindful of your immune system this holiday season, especially if you are a mutable sign. If you're a Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag, you have your ascendant there, or even if you have like Pisces, Virgo, if you're in Aries or Libra rising, you gotta be mindful of illness and sickness and things like this. Okay, this week, especially around Christmas time, because of Saturn, North Node, and Pisces. Okay, the Pisces energy making people sick, making people ill, giving people it's like weakening our immune system. Okay. Um, yes, some of you also planning to go to the dentist next year. Okay, some of you gotta go get those them teeth is fixed. Okay, Capricorn rules over our teeth, our bones. Capricorn rules over the minerals and the nutrients, the building blocks of the body. Capricorn is also connected to our skin, so skin issues. This is the season where a lot of people, because it gets kind of dry out, a lot of people start to get their eczema or eczema comes back and things like this. So you just want to be very mindful of what you're eating, your diet, your immune system. If you are someone that's prone to like eczema and things like this, or if you need to get your dental work done, start making that happen. Someone said I have a dentist appointment in February. Someone said there's a lot of sickness going around. Yeah. Okay. This is looking like a very fun, spicy, feisty energy though, this weekend. I think it's gonna be very fun, very exciting. Very physical, very busy. One of the things I wanted to say real quick before I go, I think we're gonna wrap up here. We're almost about. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Saturday, Moon in Aries. Sunday, Moon in Aries. Cardinal activation. Sunday's very well, Sunday we have the moon conjunct Chiron and trine Mercury. So there could be woundedness that comes up that day. There could be difficult conversations with the family. Going to church, moon square Jupiter, moon in Aries, trine Mercury and Sag. Someone's going to church for the first time in a long time on Sunday. That I could be talking to myself. That could be me. I haven't gone to church in a while. Um, yeah. Someone said they got lab results that took their mood down. The joys of pregnancy. Oh, you're pregnant. I love that for you. Moon trine Jupiter or moon trine Mercury in Sag on Sunday. Moon square Jupiter. Someone is disagreeing with the pastor on Sunday. This could also be about visiting your grandma, traveling, hanging out with your friends. Moon trine Jupiter, moon square Jupiter, moon trine Mercury and Sag. Making travel plans, packing. Some people are going to be packing. They're going somewhere for the new year, going on vacation, things like that. Moon trine Jupiter, moon square Jupiter, moon trine Mercury and Sag. A lot of Jupiterian energy in the air on Sunday. But healing conversations, Moon Chiron, square Jupiter on Sunday. Healing conversations, healing things with the family, talking to your mom about that bullshit she put you through when you were 13 and her totally gaslighting you and being like, I don't remember, that never happened. I just love it. What is it about our ancestors and their lack of memory around terrible things that they've done? They're like, that never happened. You don't remember that one time when you just like dropped me off or you didn't come pick me up and blah blah. They're like, that never happened. What are you talking about? You're making shit up. They're like, you're making shit up. That never happened. Crazy. What is up with them gaslighting us? They do remember. It's their guilt. It's their guilt and their shame, right? They remember. They don't remember anything. Nothing. Like it's so crazy. But yeah, that's gonna be Sunday. Someone's got to confront their mom on Sunday of this upcoming week. Someone's got to talk to their mom. And y'all, be honest with you. Some of y'all just got to listen. Okay, this is just a message. Okay, this is just a message. Some of you guys got to realize, and you just got to accept that that person is never going to be the person that you want them to be. You're never going to get that love from them. You're never going to get that acceptance. You're never going to get that closure. You're never going to get that affection. They're never going to be the person that you want them to be. So you just got to accept them as they are and even do your best to love them as they are. Because it's just how it is, my love. It's just how they are. It's just who they are. Ain't shit gonna change. You know? There ain't nothing gonna change them. That's just the way it is. And I really do. I don't know. To me, Jupiter and Cancer, Scorpio and Aries is like going back to people that we want love and compassion from and just getting more rejection or more pain. And like, and you're over here jumping through hoops, you're trying so hard, you're giving them everything, you're doing everything and you're just trying to get their love and get their affection and get their attention and get their acknowledgement. And baby, you're just not gonna get it. Let it go. Stop fighting. Stop, trying. Okay? Stop giving. Stop doing. Because you're just not gonna, it's just who they are. It's how it is. You know? You're just gonna hurt yourself. You're just gonna hurt yourself in the long run. You're only gonna hurt yourself. You're only gonna waste your time. You're only gonna drain your energy. You're only gonna like, you know? So let it go. Let them go. Give to spirit. And also just accept that this is how they are. I feel like once we learn to accept and love people as they are, we find so much peace in our life. You know why? You stop getting disappointed. You stop getting frustrated. You stop getting let down or hurt when they fail, when they upset you, when they don't live up to your expectations. You know, when you hold false expectations of people, okay, the only person that you disappoint is yourself. That's it. Because they're not going to be able to meet those expectations. They're not going to be able to be the person that you want them to be. And you're going to discover so much peace when you stop expecting them to be that person, when you stop fighting for it, you stop demanding that they change, but let it go. Love and accept people for who they are. Give people permission to be themselves. Give people permission to show you and tell you who they are. We really have to, this is like, this is like, it's so important, especially if you're on the spiritual journey. If you're someone that wants to better all your relationships in general, let's say you just want to work on your relationships. You want to work on having a better experience in your relationships for you. Okay, regardless of no matter what relationships they could be work relationships, they could be with your kids, they could be with your husband, your spouse, whatever, with whatever. Okay, with your whatever. Learn to start accepting and loving people for who they are and as they are. And learn to give other people permission to be themselves. Okay? Yes, because and someone said, look, it allows you to have more grace for yourself. Yes, it allows you to have more grace for yourself, but it also allows you to be yourself and to because then you don't have to hold yourself to unnecessary unhealthy standards expectations, right? When you start releasing expectations of others, then guess what? You're going to start letting go of expectations that other people have of you. You start letting that it's like it's a mutual thing. It's a mirrored experience. You see what I'm saying? You want to be accepted and loved for who you are. Well, start accepting and loving people for who they are. You know, you don't want to be judged, so stop judging other people. You don't want to be shamed, so stop shaming other people. That's how it works. What you do unto others, you do unto yourself. What you give to others, you give to yourself. Everything is a mirror, everything's a reflection. Astrology teaches us this. The spiritual path teaches us this. You know what I mean? And let me tell you, you will discover so much peace. You will unlock so much peace. When I started loving my family and seeing them and loving them for who they were, when I stopped expecting them to be other than they were, other than they are, like, oh my God, I swear, from one day to the next, my life just got so much easier. My life got so much easier, you know? Because we will fight tooth and nail. We will put so much energy, we will do so much to try to get people to change. When all spirit and God and the divine has been asking us and telling us to do is to love them and accept them and support them and help them for who they are. You will jump through hoops, trying to get somebody to change, trying to change somebody, trying to heal somebody, trying to help them work through their issues, trying to better them. Okay? When your work the entire time, Spirit will show you your work the entire time with just accepting them and loving them and supporting them for who they are, for their choices, for who they want to be. All right? Because we frustrate ourselves. We will make ourselves sick trying to get someone else to transform and change. And if they don't want it for themselves, there's no point. There's no point. If someone does not want something for themselves, if they don't want to change, if they don't want to be successful, if they don't want to grow, if they don't want to go back to school, if they don't want to be a better person, if they don't want to work on certain qualities of character that they need to evolve, baby, you're not gonna be able to want to do it for them. They got to do it themselves. It's got to be of their own choosing. It has to be. Because you're literally gonna be fighting them. And why do that to yourself? Why frustrate yourself? Why put yourself through all that turmoil? Okay, why waste all that energy and all that time? When all you could have been doing that entire time was just being like, I love you for who you are, and I accept you for the choices that you make, you know? And I give you permission to be that person that you want to be. Even if that is a shitty ass person. If you want to wake up and be a shitty person today, you know what? I love that for you. I love that for you. You do that. You go ahead and you do that. Okay? And because I accept you and I see you for who you are, I'm still going to love you regardless. I'm still going to love you for your faults. I'm still going to love you for your insecurities. I'm still going to love you for that shitty ass attitude. I'm still going to love you for that horrible fucking mistake that you made. I'm still going to love you for your lying, deceitful ways. I'm still going to love you for your flawed character. I'm still going to love you at a distance. Yeah. I'm still gonna love you from over here. Okay. You go over there, I'll love you. I'll love you, but this is my boundary. Okay. Like I'll love you from a distance. Like, right? Like, yeah, for real. And you will bring yourself so much. Let me tell you, my loves, it will bring you so much peace. It'll bring you so much peace. So much peace, so much peace. Okay. Can't help those who don't want to help themselves. It's really true. It's really true. You can't love those who don't love themselves. It's really hard. Listen, some people are just unlovable because they don't love themselves. No matter how much you try to love them, no matter what you do for them, no matter how much you tell, oh, you are so loved, and God loves you, and Spirit loves you, and your kids love you. If they do not feel that genuine love for themselves within themselves, it don't matter how much surrounds them, how much love surrounds them. It don't matter because they don't have the receptors to feel it. They can't pick it up. Love is all around them, but if they don't love themselves, there's no point. They don't even understand it. They don't get it. They're not going to be able to feel it. They're not going to be able to receive it. They're not going to be able to pick it up. You know, this is why you could be the most loving person. You could be the most loving person and give and do the most for someone. But if they are not able to feel it and pick it up, if they don't have the love receptors within themselves because they lack self-love, you're wasting your fucking time. You're wasting your energy. Okay? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy. This is why there's so many people that go around feeling unloved, even though they're with the most best loving partner, because deep within themselves, they don't love themselves. And even worse, they hate themselves. If someone tells you, I hate myself, I don't like myself, I think I'm a bad person, that's red flag right away. Right away. Right away. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. If they tell you, I hate myself, I don't like myself, I think I'm a bad person, you got to investigate, you got to dig. But you're not going to be able to replace that. You're not going to be able to give them that love, that self-love. You're not going to. You need to hear this. You need to hear this. I've been there. I've tried to love someone that hated themselves. And listen, it's never going to work. It never worked. It never will work. It didn't work. It's not going to work and it never will work. Because we gotta love ourselves first if we're gonna be able to receive it. Period. Period. If you cannot love yourself, if you cannot find something within yourself that is worth loving, you're not gonna be able to feel the love around you that people want to give you. You gotta love yourself. You gotta fall deeply, passionately, compassionately in love with yourself. You got to love yourself so much and not in a shallow way. You got to love yourself deeply. You got to love the core of yourself. You got to love your shadows. You got to love your insecurities. You got to love your flaws. You got to love the parts about yourself that are the most unlovable, you know? Because then when you do that, guess what? You'll find someone that matches that level of self-love. All right? If you have a pattern of following, if you have a pattern of relationships, if you fall in love with people, or if you end up partnering with people that neglect you, that abuse you, that are emotionally disconnected, or that are emotionally distraught, or that like emotionally burden you, and that don't really prioritize you, that's because that's the way you feel about yourself. That's how you feel about yourself. You don't think you're worth it. You don't think you're lovable. You don't actually love yourself. Because that relationship is showing you that. That relationship is literally coming to your life to mirror how you already feel about yourself, how you already perceive yourself. And you're over here blaming them, attacking them. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they don't love me and they're mean and they're abusive. Well, there you are the next day. How you doing, babe? Oh, where are we going for dinner? Oh, there you are the next day in the relationship, not leaving, still there, still present, because that's your norm, because that's what you accept, because that's how you feel about yourself. That's how you feel about yourself. It's deep within yourself. You may lie, you can deceive yourself, you can lie to yourself all you want. If you accept that behavior in a relationship, it's because that is your norm, that's your comfort zone, that's what's familiar to you, and that's how you value yourself and how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. It's the truth. This is the truth. It's the truth. It's a hard truth, but the quicker that you can accept it, the quicker that you can evolve and grow through it, the quicker that you can start manifesting relationships that actually value you and appreciate you and actually mirror back the best qualities of you, not your own worst sentiments about yourself. You know, people that have a really low sense of self-worth, they partner with people that reinforce that low sense of self-worth, that devalue you. People that have a lot of self-hatred, well, guess what? They partner with people that mirror that self-hatred, so they partner with people that actually hate them. If you think you're a bad person, you feel like you're a bad person inside, well, you're going to partner with someone that's going to make you remind you and show you and reinforce that belief that you have about yourself that you're a bad person. That's why if you want to heal your relationship life, if you want a better partner, if you want to evolve the way that you partner, if you want the best quality partnership, marriage, whatever, you got to work on yourself. You got to. It all starts from within because your relationships are always going to mirror what's going on within you. They're always going to mirror, okay, and even amplify what's happening or what's existing or the energies that you're embodying. And we can be very blind to it though. We can be we're the ego has the ego is so strong within ourselves that it has a way of protecting the self to the point where we will be unable to see ourselves clearly or unable to see these things clearly. This is why the spiritual journey talks about detachment. And this is why the spiritual journey in multiple spiritual, whether it be Hinduism, whether it be Buddhism, whether it be whatever, right? They talk about overcoming the ego because the ego blinds us to the truth about these things within ourselves that are being reflected or mirrored within others. The ego automatically always wants to make you the good guy. Ego has a self-protective function. This is the role of the sun. This is where we're so attached to our ego. We're so attached to our identity. We're so attached to our sun. We're so attached to, we're so defensive around ourselves, around we're very prideful, very arrogant. We have a really strong ego, right? We're very attached to our identity because it's the sun. It's the power of the sun. The sun is the strongest planet. When the sun comes out, all the other planets go into hiding. You can't see nothing else. When the sun's out, there's no other stars or planets in the sky. It's all about the sun, right? Well, the sun is so strong that it blinds itself. It's blind to itself. The ego, the sun, is so strong that it's blind to itself. It can't see itself clearly. It looks at itself in the best light possible. This is why, in your own narrative, whenever you're telling a story about someone that wronged you or someone that whatever, you're always going to be either the victim or you're always going to be the good guy. Very rarely will you tell someone a story where you are the villain in your narrative, where you are the bad guy in your story. If from your perspective, this is the way the ego protects us. This is the way the ego blinds us. This is the way the sun is the ego, right? Blinds us to truth because it always tells us, "Oh, you're the good guy. You're the victim. You're the one that went through it. You're the one that blah 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 blah." But it blinds us to the truth that actually, you know what? We could be the ones that are the villain. We could be the ones that are our own worst enemy, right? Our own ego, our own attachment to our ego could be the very thing that is manifesting outwardly, which is getting us in these unhealthy, toxic relationships or toxic patterns, right? So it's like really understanding this. I think this is why astrology is so psychological, because when you start to understand the planets and how they manifest within us, you can also start to understand their faults. And this is one of this is one of the faults of the sun. This is one of the faults of the sun and of the ego, is its ability to not see itself clearly. Its ability to not see itself clearly. This is why shadow work is important, right? Because the brighter the light, the darker the shadow, right? Shadow work is important because shadow work allows you to peer behind the ego to kind of uncover its patterns that are very self-destructive or self-sabotaging or very toxic. You see what I'm saying? As a Scorpio sun in the eighth house, I admit where I was the villain. Well, yeah, but that's a Scorpio thing. Scorpio is a natural villain, right? Scorpio and Aquarius are the villains, where Taurus and Leo are the heroes. You know, this is why the hero is always good looking, Venus, and the enemy or the villain is always ugly, Mars, Scorpio. This is why the villain is always like the celebrity, the one Leo, where the villain is the one, the outcast, Aquarius, Saturn. Every villain, right, has like a narrative around being outcasted or ostracized or being left behind, right? Or being abandoned. There's always some kind of woundedness with the that creates a villain. The villain, and that it's so cool because we're in this timeline where the last 4 or 5 years we've been seeing a lot of the villain side of the story, like movies like Wicked and even like The Joker, right? It's like, how did the villain become the villain? Well, it's usually because they had a fucking terrible childhood, they had toxic ass parents, they were abandoned, they were abused, they were neglected, and that brought them into villainhood, right? That's usually how they become a villain, right? So Scorpio and so Mars and Saturn are always going to be casted as the bad guys. And you'll even see this in movies. You'll see that like actors with a strong Scorpio and Saturn or a strong Mars Saturn signature, Aquarius, Capricorn, Scorpio, Aries, they'll play the villain in movies all the time. They get casted as the villain, where people that like were Leos, oh my God, Leos, where Leos and Tauruses are always casted as the good guy. Someone said I was correct about Jean's daughter. What do you mean? I don't refresh my memory. So this is why you'll always see Leo actors being casted as good guys and Taurus actors being casted as good guys. Right away, the first person that I think of with like Taurus good guy actors is The Rock. What's his name? Dwight The Rock. The Rock. What's his name? Dwight what? Dwayne Johnson. Dwight. Dwayne Johnson, yeah. He's a Taurus. He's always being casted as a good guy. You will never see you will never see Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, being casted as a bad guy. Never. Where Joaquin Phoenix, he's a Scorpio. He's got a lot of Mars. He's got a strong Mars signature in his chart. I think he's got an Aries moon too. Hold on, let me see. I think he's a Scorpio sun, Aries moon. He's always going to be casted as the bad guy. He's always been casted as the bad guy. Yeah, he has an Aries moon. Yeah. So look at Joaquin Phoenix has Sun, Venus, Mars all in Scorpio, and he's got a moon in Aries. He's very Martian. He's always the bad guy in movies. He's always been casted as the villain. Like energetically, we can't even get away from the archetypes. Like it's so crazy. It was so Alan said it was a long time ago. You said she would want to leave the country when she graduated. Looks like that's what's going to happen. Is this your daughter? Is your child or your daughter, right? Yeah. Yeah, if you want to book a children's chart reading with me, my loves, I will look at your child's chart and tell you all about them and what they're gonna do when they graduate and stuff. I've been able to tell yeah, I've told a lot of parents like, "Oh yeah, when your child is 18, 19, they're leaving the country. They're moving far away." You could see this. You could see this in the chart. Oh, your stepdaughter. Okay, stepdaughter. Yeah. You can see this in a chart. You can see. It's so crazy. But yeah, if you ever want some insight into one of your children's, book a children's chart reading with me. I'll be able to help you understand your child on a deeper level and give you some insight into like how to prepare them for their future and stuff, you know. Jennifer said this explains a lot. Yeah, it does. I have a it's crazy because like I'm a good guy, but I have a lot of villain energy. Like I have a Capricorn moon, I have a Scorpio stellium, I have Jupiter North Node in Aries, I have an eighth house Mars in Libra. So it's funny because like I always like what I've noticed in my own life is people will try to cast me as like the bad guy, or I'll end up being casted as like the bad guy in like their narrative or in their story. And I'm like, listen, if you need an enemy, if you need a competition, if you need a villain in your narrative and your story, and if you want me to play that role for you because that's what you need or that's the role that I meant to play for you, all right, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it, okay? If I'm meant to be the one, if I'm meant to be the one that hold you accountable, if I'm meant to be the one that creates a challenge in your life, if I'm meant to be the one that, you know, is the person of testing that you got to go through, let me be that. I'll play that role. I love that. I'll be that role. Yeah, no. I'll be the enemy you need. I'll be the enemy you need to get you by, okay? To help teach you a lesson, help you evolve a little bit. I definitely saw this when I was working at the bank and stuff, you know. When I worked at the bank, I swear, like I just always like what it's just like everyone it's just like damn, like just let me do my job. Like I always had an enemy. I don't know, people just always had it out for me when I was in banking. And I think it's just because I was just so good at what I did, you know what I mean? I was really good at that. That's the other thing about like about people that have Saturn energy, like Capricorn, Aquarius energy, strong Saturn. Like they're gonna be the best at what they do. They're gonna master it. Saturn is the planet of mastery, you know? So it's like whatever I do, whatever I'm gonna get involved with, no matter what it is, over time I'm naturally gonna get good at it. Over time I'm gonna master it. Because that's my Capricorn moon. I have a 10th house Saturn, I have Capricorn moon. That's just how I am. That's how I was made, you know? It's like I naturally get better at things over time. And I understand that as a Capricorn moon, I understand that, you know, greatness comes with time. You build greatness over time, or you perfect something, you become great at something over time. The more that you do it, the greater that you get at it, you know? As Aqua rising, Virgo, eighth house stellium, South Node, Lilith, Mercury, you've been painted as a villain in other stories. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough being a Saturn Mars person. It's tough being an Aquarius, Capricorn, Scorpio, Aries person. It really is like because we get misunderstood so often and we get like ostracized and outcasted and we get like bullied and we get like painted as the villain as the enemy where many times we're the victim, you know, like we're just being misunderstood, we're just trying to be ourselves, you know what I mean? But honestly, because I'm a Mars person, I'm a Scorpio stellium with North Node Jupiter and Aries. I like a little bit of competition though. I like a little bit of contention. I like a little bit of conflict, you know, every now and then. It keeps life interesting, you know. I like going to war every now and then. You know what I mean? I like a little battle here and there. You know what I mean? I like a little fight here and there. I like a little conflict here and there. I gotta be honest with that. You know, I don't mind it. Every now and again, when life gets a little boring, all right, let me pick a fight right here real quick. Let me pick a fight real quick. Okay, I'm a little bored. I think this is like a Sag Aries thing too. I think Saggies do this too. I think Sag and Aries. I think when they're a little bored and a little restless sometimes, they're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna pick a fight today. I feel like fighting. I feel like arguing today. I feel like, you know, I feel like I need some excitement in my life. You know, I need a little excitement in my life. I'm feeling a little bored. I think Scorpio does this too. I think Scorpio, I'm my Scorpio side. Sometimes I'll just poke and prod at people just to kind of get under their skin a little bit. So I like to see what makes people tick a little bit sometimes, you know? We get a little bored. You know, you listen. You got Aries people out there, you Aries people out there, you Sag people out there, you Scorpio. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. You Mars people, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. You Sag people, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you're just a little bored. Sometimes you're a little restless. Sometimes you just need a little excitement in your life. So you're gonna fight. You're gonna pick a fight sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna talk some shit. You're gonna stir up some mess. You know what I mean? Just keep your life interesting. Jennifer said, not anymore. I love that for you. I love that for you. Okay, my loves, well, I gotta go enjoy my vacation. So I'm gonna go ahead and post this on. Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and post this on YouTube. This is a little bit of a different week ahead astrology. We kind of deviated from the plan today, but it's okay. I was able to share some wisdom and some knowledge, and do some astrology with you guys. So I love you all so much. Happy holidays. Be well. Look out for an update, not an update. Look out for an announcement. So what I'm trying to do is in January. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe the weekend of like the 9th or the 10th or something. Maybe like the second weekend of January. I want to do like a little get together for my peoples in LA. Like a little Soul Sage meetup. I was thinking of like either doing a hike or doing like a drag show or something like this. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of fill into it. I'll fill into it. But I want to do a little meetup, another little meetup where we can all get together. Maybe like a morning hike and then going to lunch or something afterwards will be really fun. I kind of want to do that. Yeah, let's do a hike. I feel like doing a hike. I feel like doing a really nice hike. Maybe somewhere in Whittier. I'm gonna be planning that the second weekend of January. I think I'm gonna stay. So I'm gonna stay here for a few weeks, but I'm thinking about like the 9th, 10th, 11th of January, like that weekend. So if you want to come and hang out and like meet up with other people that are into astrology and tarot and have some fun and meet me and hang out with me and stuff like that, we're gonna do like I'm thinking about doing a little hike. Well, maybe we'll do like a little do like an afternoon or a morning hike or something like that. Okay, like a brunch. Yeah, like a brunch. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, my love, so look out for that. Okay, I'll give you guys more details on that on my stories. And yeah, and I'll probably announce that officially next Monday for our last week ahead Astro, which would be Monday on the 29th. So I'll give you guys more details about that, okay? Love you all so much. Enjoy this holiday season with your family, with your friends. Make sure you're resting and rejuvenating, but also Sun Mars together in Capricorn, baby. We're hitting 2026. We're hitting the ground running in 2026. Okay, so get clear with the plans, get clear with the vision. Think about what's the next goal, what's the next dream. Your New Year's resolutions, so appropriate Capricorn season, and we make New Year's we make resolutions, we make commitments, right? Promises to ourselves during Capricorn season, because Capricorn is all about commitment. It's all about discipline, it's all about structure, it's all about the goals and the dreams and the vision. Okay? I want you guys to think about that, okay? As we approach the new year, all right? Love you all so much. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and I will see you guys soon, okay? Bye.